The quantum burst came during the night shift aboard the ENS Thunderchild. Lieutenant Sarah Chen was running routine sensor diagnostics when the signal pierced through subspace, its desperate frequencies flooding their arrays. Her fingers flew across the holographic interface, isolating the transmission. "Captain to the bridge," she called, her voice steady despite the adrenaline surging through her veins. The signal was unlike anything she'd seen before, a complex weave of data and emotion, broadcasting on frequencies humans had only theorized about. Captain Maya Rodriguez emerged from her ready room moments later, her weathered face illuminated by the soft blue glow of the bridge displays. "Report, Lieutenant. First contact scenario, Captain." The signal. Chen paused, double-checking her readings. It's a distress call, but encoded within it is an entire scientific database. Whoever sent this is giving away their civilization's knowledge. Rodriguez leaned over the console, her dark eyes scanning the cascading data. After 20 years in Earth's naval service, she'd learned that desperation made civilizations do extraordinary things. But this was unprecedented. The message began to decode itself, translating into human comprehensible format. "This is High Speaker Varix of the Zorathian Collective. Our civilization faces extinction at the hands of the Kraxan forces. We offer our knowledge, our legacy, to any who would stand with us. Please, we have so much yet to give to the galaxy." The bridge fell silent as the message continued to play, showing images of a civilization at the brink. The Zorathians were a species of bioluminescent humanoids who had mastered the art of organic technology. Their cities were living entities, grown rather than built. Their ships were semi-sentient beings that shared a symbiotic relationship with their pilots. All of it was being systematically destroyed by the Kraxan Collective, a species that viewed organic technology as an abomination. "What's our position relative to the signal source?" Rodriguez asked, straightening her uniform. "Edge of the Carina Arm, Captain. Approximately 48 hours at maximum sustainable FTL." Commander James Walsh, her XO, replied. Rodriguez nodded slowly, weighing the implications. The Thunderchild was Earth's most advanced warship, a prototype vessel incorporating both human innovation and reverse-engineered alien technology. They were supposed to be running stealth trials in the Outer Rim, not involving themselves in an interstellar conflict. "Ma'am," Chen spoke up, her voice quiet but firm. "The Zorathian database. Their advances in biotechnology could revolutionize human medicine. Their research into organic computing could advance our AI development by centuries. And getting involved could draw the Kraxan's attention to Earth." Walsh countered. "We're not ready for a full-scale interstellar war." Rodriguez walked to the main viewport, watching the stars streak by. Humanity had been cautious since achieving FTL capability, slowly building their strength while avoiding the attention of larger galactic powers. But caution had a price. How many civilizations had they watched fall? All in the name of strategic patience. Lieutenant Chen analyzed the Kraxan fleet signatures from the Zorathian data. "Commander Walsh, begin combat simulations based on those readings. I want options on my desk in 2 hours." She turned to face her crew, her decision made. "And send a message to Earth Command. Tell them that humanity can no longer afford to be just observers in this galaxy." The quantum communicator pulsed as it transmitted their message back to Earth. Rodriguez knew she was potentially starting something that could change the course of human history. But as she studied the desperate plea of the Zorathians, she remembered the words that had guided humanity's first steps into space. "We came in peace for all mankind." "Plot a course to the Zorathian homeworld," she ordered. "Maximum speed. And begin charging the phase cannons. If we're going to do this, we're going to do it right." The Thunderchild's engines hummed to life as it changed course, its sleek hull gleaming in the starlight. In her quarters that night, Rodriguez studied the Zorathian database, learning everything she could about the species they were about to either save or die trying to protect. Their civilization was beautiful, a harmony of biology and technology that Earth's scientists had only dreamed of. As she read about their achievements, their art, their philosophy of synthetic harmony with the natural world, Rodriguez became more certain of her decision. The galaxy needed civilizations like the Zorathians. It needed people who dared to imagine a better way, who sought to create rather than destroy. The Thunderchild accelerated into the darkness, carrying with it humanity's first real step onto the galactic stage. Whether they succeeded or failed, there would be no going back to the shadows. The age of human isolation was about to end. The response from Earth Command arrived 18 hours into their journey toward Zorathian space. Captain Rodriguez stood in her ready room, facing the holographic projection of Admiral Martinez, her former mentor and now the head of Earth's Defense Council. "You've started a fire we may not be able to put out, Maya," Martinez said, her holographic form flickering slightly. "The Kraxon Collective has territories bordering 3 of our colony systems. If they decide to retaliate, then we'll be ready," Rodriguez interrupted. "Admiral, you've seen the Zorathian database. Their organic technology could revolutionize our defensive capabilities. More importantly, they're offering us something we've never had before, a true ally in this sector." Martinez's expression softened slightly. "The Council has been deliberating for the past 12 hours. You'll be pleased to know that despite the risks, they'd voted to support your intervention." She paused, allowing a small smile. "You're not going in alone." The tactical display lit up, showing multiple quantum signatures emerging from Earth space. The ENS Valiant and ENS Defiant, both heavy cruisers, along with their escort frigates, had been dispatched to support the Thunderchild's mission. 4 ships against the Kraxon fleet, Commander Walsh asked, studying the tactical readout. "The intel shows they have at least 30 vessels in the Zorathian system." "Quality over quantity, Commander," Lieutenant Chen interjected, pulling up the analysis she'd completed. "The Kraxon rely on brute force, energy weapons, and kinetic bombardment. Their shields are powerful, but predictable. They've never encountered our phase technology." Rodriguez nodded, remembering the countless simulations they'd run. The Thunderchild's phase cannons were humanity's greatest technological achievement, weapons that could shift partially out of normal spacetime, bypassing conventional shields. They were untested in actual combat, but the simulations were promising. "We've got another problem," Walsh announced, bringing up a new set of readings. "Long-range sensors are picking up quantum distortions consistent with Kraxon engines. They're bringing in reinforcements." Rodriguez studied the data, her mind racing through possibilities. The Kraxon weren't just trying to destroy the Zorathians. They were making a statement to the galaxy. Any civilization that dared to develop organic technology would face extinction. "Lieutenant Chen, send our tactical data to the approaching Earth fleet. I want all ships synchronized for phase cannon deployment when we arrive." She turned to her communications officer. "And get me a channel to High Speaker Verix. The Zorathians need to know help is coming, and we'll need their cooperation for what I'm planning." The quantum communicator took several minutes to establish a connection through the Kraxon jamming. When it finally stabilized, the image of High Speaker Verix appeared. A tall, elegant being whose bioluminescent patterns pulsed with anxiety and hope. "This is Captain Maya Rodriguez of the Earth naval ship Thunderchild," she announced. "We received your message, High Speaker. Earth has voted to stand with the Zorathian people." Verix's patterns shifted to something resembling astonishment. You are human. We had no knowledge of your species. Why would you risk yourselves for us?" "Because that's what humanity does," Rodriguez replied simply. "We're bringing a fleet, High Speaker, but we'll need your help. Your organic ships, can they interface with our quantum systems?" "It may be possible," Verix said, their patterns now showing intense concentration. "Our vessels are semi-sentient. They can adapt, learn. But the Kraxon have destroyed most of our combat-capable ships." "We don't need combat ships," Rodriguez explained, a plan forming in her mind. We need your organic technology's ability to adapt and evolve. Lieutenant Chen, share the phase cannon specifications with the high speaker. As Chen transmitted the data, Varix's patterns began to pulse rapidly. This is extraordinary. You can shift matter out of normal spacetime. Our ships could potentially amplify this effect, creating a cascading phase disruption across multiple vessels. Exactly, Rodriguez smiled. The Craxun think they're making an example of your people, high speaker. Instead, they're about to witness what happens when human determination meets Zorathian innovation. The next 24 hours were a blur of preparation. The Earth fleet rendezvoused with the Thunderchild, 6 hours out from the Zorathian system. Engineers worked frantically to integrate Zorathian bioprotocols with human phase technology, while tactical officers ran combat simulations with the new capabilities. As they approached their final jump point, Rodriguez stood on her bridge, watching her crew work with practiced efficiency. They were about to make history, the first human fleet to engage in full-scale interstellar combat. The first to declare to the galaxy that humanity would no longer stand idle while civilizations burned. All ships report ready, Captain, Walsh announced. Phase cannon integration is holding steady at 94% efficiency. Rodriguez nodded, her voice firm, as she gave the order that would change the course of human history. Take us in. The human fleet emerged from quantum space into chaos. The Zorathian homeworld hung in the void like a jewel, its bioluminescent cities visible even from orbit. But the beauty was marred by the Craxon blockade. 40 warships arranged in a precise geometric pattern, their black hulls absorbing what little starlight reached them. Multiple targeting locks, Lieutenant Chen reported, her fingers dancing across her console. The Craxon are repositioning to engage. Captain Rodriguez studied the tactical display, noting how the enemy ships moved with machine-like precision. Status of the Zorathian integration. Bioprotocols are stable, Chen replied. Their remaining ships are syncing with our phase network now. The Craxon didn't wait for diplomacy. Their lead vessels opened fire, filling space with lances of crimson energy. But Rodriguez had anticipated this. Execute pattern Sierra. All ships engage phase shields. The human fleet split apart in a precisely choreographed dance, their phase shields shimmering as they absorbed the enemy fire. The Thunderchild led the charge, its advanced systems allowing it to phase shift faster than its sister ships. Enemy commander is broadcasting, Walsh announced. Let's hear it, Rodriguez ordered. A harsh, synthetic voice filled the bridge. Human vessels, you protect aberrations. The Zorathian corruption of natural order cannot be permitted. Withdraw now, or share their fate. Rodriguez's response was simple. Fire phase cannons. Target their command ship. The Thunderchild's main weapons powered up, their energy signatures altered by the integrated Zorathian bioprotocols. When they fired, the beams didn't just phase through the enemy shields. They adapted, learning from each impact, becoming more effective with each shot. Direct hit, Chen called out. Their shields. Captain, the Zorathian integration is working better than we predicted. Our weapons are evolving mid-battle. The Craxum response was immediate and brutal. Their fleet broke formation, individual ships moving to surround the human vessels. But this too had been anticipated. Now, High Speaker, Rodriguez commanded. From the surface of the Zorathian world, dozens of smaller ships rose into orbit. Not combat vessels, but research craft, medical ships, even civilian transports. Each one enhanced with the same bioprotocols that had supercharged the Thunderchild's weapons. All ships, execute final protocol. High Speaker Varix's voice echoed across the command channel. The Zorathian vessels began to pulse with bioluminescent energy, forming a living network that connected them to the human fleet. Phase cannon efficiency now at 150% and rising. Chen reported, her voice filled with wonder. The Zorathian ships are amplifying our phase shifts, creating quantum resonance patterns the Craxon can't predict. The battle transformed into a dance of light and shadow. human phase cannons, enhanced by Zorathian biotechnology, carved through Kraxon defenses. Each hit became more effective as the organic technology learned and adapted. The Kraxon tried to adjust, their artificial intelligence attempting to predict the evolving attack patterns, but they were fighting something that defied mechanical logic. Their formation is breaking. Walsh observed as another Kraxon heavy cruiser lost power, its systems overloaded by the phase disruptions. But victory wouldn't come easily. The Kraxon commander, realizing their conventional tactics were failing, ordered a desperate gambit. Their remaining ships began to power up their main drives simultaneously. They're going to make a suicide run at the planet, Chen realized. Energy readings are off the scale. Rodriguez's mind raced through options. The Kraxon ship's combined explosion would devastate the Zorathian homeworld. They couldn't shoot them all down in time, and their phase shields wouldn't contain that level of explosion. Then she saw it, the pattern in the Zorathian ship's movements. They weren't just amplifying the human weapons, they were creating a living defense grid. All ships, kill main power, divert everything to the phase network. The human fleet went dark, their systems powering down just as the Zorathian ships pulsed with blinding light. The bio-network expanded, creating a massive phase field that enveloped both the human fleet and the Zorathian homeworld. The Kraxon ships charged, their drives going critical. But when they exploded, the combined detonation met something unprecedented, a living shield that adapted to each wave of energy, channeling it, transforming it. The phase field absorbed the blast, its bioluminescent patterns shifting to show the flow of power. When the light faded, the human fleet powered back up to find the Kraxon threat neutralized. The combined shield had worked, protecting both the planet and its defenders. Status report. Rodriguez called out, still blinking away the afterimages. All human ships intact, Walsh replied. Zorathian casualties minimal. Their bio-network. Captain, it's still evolving. The experience of defending against the blast has made it stronger. Rodriguez allowed herself a small smile. Send word to Earth Command. Tell them. She paused, looking at the stunning display of Zorathian ships still pulsing in formation around her fleet. Tell them that humanity has made some remarkable new friends. The celebration aboard the Thunderchild was short-lived. As the crew assessed their unprecedented victory over the Kraxon fleet, Lieutenant Chen's sensors detected something that turned their triumph to ash. Captain, she called out, her voice tense. I'm picking up quantum distortions at the edge of the system. They're like nothing I've ever seen. Rodriguez moved to Chen's station, studying the readings. The quantum signatures were massive, far larger than any ship they'd encountered. Analysis. It's some kind of constructed object, Chen replied, adjusting her sensors. Approximately 300 kilometers in diameter. It's generating quantum fields similar to our phase technology. But the scale, she trailed off, her eyes widening at the readings. The main view screen flickered to life without command, and the synthetic voice of the Kraxon leader filled the bridge once more. You believe you understand power, humans. You think your alliance with these biological aberrations makes you strong. Now witness true strength. The massive object emerged from quantum space, a construct of dark metal and pulsing energy, shaped like a massive ring. At its center, something that looked disturbingly like an artificial singularity spun slowly. High speaker, Rodriguez called over the quantum comm. Are you seeing this? Varix's response was filled with horror. It's a star killer. We thought they were theoretical. A weapon that uses quantum phase technology to accelerate stellar aging. They mean to burn our sun. Time to effect. Rodriguez demanded. At their current power curve, less than 6 hours, Chen reported. Once the reaction starts, there's no stopping it. The star will go supernova. Rodriguez's mind raced through options. Their phase cannons, even enhanced by Zorathian biotechnology, wouldn't be enough to penetrate a structure of that size. But as she watched the Zorathian ships regrouping, their bioluminescent patterns shifting in response to the threat, an idea began to form. High speaker, she called. Your bio-network adapted during the battle, learning from each engagement. What would happen if we linked it directly to my ship's quantum core? There was a long pause. It would be unprecedented, Varix replied. The energy involved. It could burn out both systems. Maybe worse. But if it worked, Rodriguez pressed, could we generate a phase field large enough to affect that weapon? Yes, Varix said slowly. But Captain, you must understand. Such a connection would be two-way. Your ship's computer systems, your crew's neural interfaces, they would be exposed to our biotechnology. The changes would be irreversible. Rodriguez looked at her crew. She didn't need to ask. Their expressions told her everything. Better to change than to watch a civilization die, she said firmly. What do you need from us? The next 4 hours were a blur of activity. The Thunderchild's quantum core was modified to interface with Zorathian bioprotocols, while the remaining Earth ships formed a defensive perimeter. Engineers worked frantically to stabilize the connections as strange, organic growths began to appear along the ship's neural pathways. The Star Killer is powering up, Chen reported, her neural interface now glowing with the same bioluminescent patterns as the Zorathian ships. We're detecting quantum fractures in solar space. All hands, Rodriguez announced shipwide. Prepare for biosync. This is going to get interesting. The connection, when it happened, was unlike anything they had prepared for. The Thunderchild's systems merged with the Zorathian bio-network in a cascade of light and sensation. Rodriguez felt her consciousness expand, touching the minds of her crew. The Zorathian ships, even the living technology that now pulsed through her vessel's halls. Through their shared awareness, she understood what needed to be done. The Thunderchild's phase cannons fired, not as weapons, but as conduits, connecting the ship to the Zorathian fleet. Energy flowed between them, biological and mechanical systems working in perfect harmony. Phase field expanding, Chen reported, her voice carrying echoes of the collective consciousness they now shared. The Star Killer's quantum signature is destabilizing. The Krexun weapon fought back, its artificial singularity pulsing as it tried to maintain cohesion. But it was fighting something beyond its programming. A hybrid of human determination and Zorathian adaptation that evolved faster than its defenses could respond. Their containment field is failing, Walsh announced, his own neural patterns now synchronized with the ship's. But our systems are reaching critical levels. Rodriguez could feel the strain through the biolink. Circuits burning out, organic pathways reaching their limits. But she could also feel something else. The collective will of two species united in defense of life itself. Push through, she ordered, the command carrying through both verbal and neural channels. Everything we've got. Show them what happens when humanity and Zorathians stand together. The Thunderchild's hull groaned as power surged through systems never meant to handle such energies. Across the ship, human and machine and living technology merged further, adapting, evolving, becoming something entirely new. The Star Killer's artificial singularity flickered once, twice, and then collapsed in upon itself, its quantum fields unable to maintain coherence against the hybrid assault. The massive ring structure began to break apart, its pieces scattering into the void. As emergency systems engaged and the bio-network connection gradually powered down, Rodriguez looked around her bridge. Her crew was changed. Neural interfaces now permanently merged with Zorathian biotechnology, their thoughts linked in ways that would reshape human understanding of consciousness itself. Send word to Earth Command, she ordered, her voice carrying both pride and wonder. Tell them that humanity just took its first step into a much larger universe. 1 year after the Battle of the Zorathian Star, Captain Maya Rodriguez stood in Earth's Grand Assembly, her neural interfaces pulsing softly with bioluminescent patterns that matched the rhythm of her thoughts. Before her, representatives from both humanity and the Zorathian collective gathered to formalize what had begun in desperate hours of combat. The merger of our technologies was not just a tactical decision. She addressed the assembly, her words carrying the weight of shared experience. It was the first step toward understanding that evolution isn't just biological. It's technological, cultural, and spiritual. The chamber itself reflected this truth. Zorathian bioarchitecture had been integrated with human engineering, creating a space that lived and breathed while housing the most advanced quantum computing systems ever developed. The walls pulsed with patterns of light that responded to the emotional state of those within, a visible symbol of the synthesis between their civilizations. High Speaker Varix, standing beside Rodriguez, continued the address. Their bioluminescent patterns synchronized unconsciously with Rodriguez's neural interfaces, a phenomenon now common between humans and Zorathians who worked closely together. 1 year ago, we offered our knowledge to the galaxy in a desperate bid for survival, Varix said, their patterns shifting to reflect deep emotion. What we received in return was far greater than mere preservation. Through humanity's courage and innovation, we discovered that true advancement comes not from isolation, but from union. The changes of the past year had reshaped both civilizations. The crew of the Thunderchild, first to undergo the biotechnological merger, had become the bridge between species. Their enhanced neural interfaces allowed them to interface directly with Zorathian biotechnology, while their human ingenuity helped guide its evolution in new directions. Earth's colonies now featured growing cities, their structures adapting to environmental challenges in real time. Zorathian medical technology, combined with human expertise, had begun to eliminate diseases once thought incurable. But perhaps most significantly, the feared retaliation from other powers never came. The Crexum Collective has withdrawn from 3 sectors, Admiral Martinez reported, taking her turn at the podium. Our intelligence suggests they're reconsidering their stance on organic technology. The destruction of their star killer demonstrated something they hadn't anticipated, that adaptation is stronger than rigid doctrine. Rodriguez noted how the Admiral's traditional uniform now incorporated subtle bioluminescent elements, a fashion that had spread rapidly through Earth society. It wasn't just technology that had merged. Culture, art, and philosophy from both civilizations had begun to interweave in fascinating ways. But our greatest achievement, Rodriguez continued, isn't in our victories or technological advances. It's in proving that different species, different approaches to life itself, can do more than just coexist. We can evolve together, each making the other stronger. She activated the chamber's main display, showing the construction of the first joint human-Zorathian defense fleet. The ships were unlike anything either civilization had created alone. Sleek hulls incorporating living tissue, quantum cores that pulsed with bioluminescent energy, weapons that could adapt to any threat. The galaxy is watching, she concluded. They see not just our strength, but our capacity for growth, for change, for reaching beyond what we thought possible. The question we faced a year ago wasn't just whether humanity would step onto the galactic stage, it was what kind of presence we would be. As she spoke, data streamed through her neural interface, reports of new discoveries, diplomatic overtures from other species, breakthroughs in hybrid technologies. The decision to save the Zorathians had created ripples that continued to spread across known space. Today, we formalize the alliance that began in battle, Varix announced. But more than that, we declare to the galaxy that evolution need not be a solitary journey, that the greatest strengths come not from standing alone, but from standing together. The assembly chamber erupted in approval, human voices mixing with Zorathian bioluminescent expressions of joy. As Rodriguez watched, she remembered the desperate message that had started it all. A civilization offering everything it had in exchange for hope. What they had created together was more than either species could have imagined. It was more than an alliance, more than a merger of technologies. It was proof that the future belonged not to those who stood unchanged, but to those who dared to evolve, to adapt, to reach across the void and find not enemies, but partners in the great journey of existence. As the celebration continued around her, Rodriguez's neural interface picked up a transmission from the Thunderchild, still in orbit above. Her ship had changed, grown, evolved with its crew. But its core mission remained the same: to push the boundaries of what was possible. "Ready for your next mission, Captain?" Commander Walsh's thoughts came through clearly. Rodriguez smiled, her own patterns pulsing with anticipation. "Always, Commander. After all, we've got a whole galaxy of possibilities to explore." The story of humanity's first major step into galactic politics wasn't just about victory in battle. It was about choosing to become something new, something greater. It was about proving that the strongest force in the universe wasn't weapons or technology or even knowledge. It was the willingness to change, to grow, and to face the future not alone, but together.